live from downtown Mill Bay. Science and ethics. Okay, Timmy, Ben, Lily, Archie, Zoe. Zoe? Oh, there you are. Lisa, Felix, Zane, Casey, Annabelle, Clara, William, William K. No William. Alejandra, Kate, Violet, Naomi, not here. Brandon, Hugo, Parker, Enhad, Enhad. He is gone. Kieran, Kate, Anderson, and Thomas. Excellent. That means we need to get rid of Okay. Naomi Robert. Okay, I briefly gave you does a set of all sets that does not contain itself, which last day, which is the fundamental mistake in math, not mistake, it's just a part of math that contradicts itself, and math should not contradict itself. Someone said, what is 0 divided by 0, and then stayed behind to have an argument in which I believe both of them agreed with each other. Who were they? Who volunteered to tell us about 0 last day? Hugo, was it you?
Oh yeah, Casey and I were working.
Yeah. So, Casey, start off. Why is 0 not a number?
Because it doesn't exist.
Yeah, more than that.
Okay, it doesn't exist because it represents nothing.
Hugo?
It does exist because we need something that represents the absence of existence. If we don't have it, that math won't work.
Yeah. No, don't argue with each other. So there's two concepts. There's number one, it does exist because we need something to communicate. So it's just a word in English. But there's also the concept of does it exist as a number? Infinity, for example, is not a number. It's a concept. 0 might be a concept or a number. However, math doesn't work very well without 0. So we have to kind of shove it in there. And then when we have 0 divided by 0, what is 0 divided by 0?
0.
Mathematically speaking,
It's like, well, if you have 5 divided by 5, what's that? 1. Right. So any number over top of itself equals 1.
Unless you have 0 groups of nothing.
And then you don't have anything. But it doesn't even work out to be 0. This is just an empty set. Like there's nothing that we can put there. There's no value that mathematicians know to put there because a few rules come together at this point. A number over a number should equal 1. It doesn't. Anything divided by 0 is, if we have 5 divided by 0 is infinite, which again is not a number. Although you can add and subtract infinities. and get like 5. 2 infinities of the same size can be added in. I'm just talking out. Just to talk a little bit about infinities, let's say you have a set, and the set goes 1 plus 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus da 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 da. Forever. Absolutely forever. And you take a set that is 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 that does that, and you go, oh, I'm just going to line those numbers up. They go on forever, so I can make them match, and I minus them. What do I get? Yeah, I've got 1 left over. I've minus down the row. You've got that. Infinity minus infinity equals 0. Math will also tell us that those are both the same size in terms of infinity. It's not one bigger. It sort of breaks down when you get to infinities. But we can still do math with it. On the other hand, it breaks some of other assumptions. And so there is a part of math that is our language. That's obviously invented. Different languages call 0 different things. Some languages didn't even invent it, like the Romans, which is why their math was weird. But is the actual concept itself, that A plus B equals B plus A, invented? Did we just come up with that and then it turned out to be useful, so we kept it? In much the same way that we might invent the steam engine? Or did we discover it in the same way we might discover some principles of chemistry or physics that already existed in the world and we just described it in language? Get that one. Sorry, I was going to very quickly put you into groups, and then the website picked this time to say, oh, I want you to re-enter your password like you do once a month. There we go. Let's go. We need sizable ones. A little too big. Excellent. I will pick the second worst group size. Except for Archie. Archie, you can join any group. Find your people, and I want you to write these points. I want you to decide one way or the other, and then I want you to, whatever evidence you believe you have that shows that it's one way or the other, put it on the whiteboard. The person who writes doesn't have to be shouldn't be the person who talks when I ask your group. So find your people, grab a whiteboard pen. Let's turn on the lights.
There we go. We need that.
I don't know, the website, Class Dojo is made for like kindergarten classes because you reward people with points for like not talking in class. So over time the eggs will hatch and you'll get little cute monsters that represent you. I just use it to make groups and then keep track of how many times I've asked someone a question.
Did we discover?
So, is math invented or discovered?
I think we discovered math, but we created a language to adapt math to our brains.
I would say math is something like a representation.
That's it.
Like if I call if I would say I agree that it was there before giving up. I discovered what it was, and then
I can tell you.
yeah, it was literally I used to have a bunch of systems for accounting. Yeah, exactly. Because it will. It was just sometimes there's a lot. I would say like yes. We invented the idea of numbers, but the idea of math itself.
That's the question? Yeah.
Invented numbers.
Kate, what do you think?
Bro, my
Nah, it's definitely discovered.
Because
Because cavemen were like trading rocks. The caveman wouldn't want to give away his 3 rocks. He would one rock.
Yeah.
what if we have very different
Yeah.
in our group?
I know, that's why I gave you the worst group size.
Carol, oh, yeah.
You can have
That
2
is so
inside,
Thanks.
yeah.
I
It's
appreciate
actually
you.
the second worst group
Thank you.
So
size.
do you want us to like argue about it, or do you want us to just
No, you have to come up with a consensus.
Okay, guys, consensus.
What do you mean by do experiments like doing math?
Yeah. If math,
2 plus 3 plus 4.
so you've noticed one of the questions I haven't talked about, and that would go up to the top one. Do we do experiments in math?
Yes.
You go to math class and you walk out in the world and you do some experiments? When have you done that?
You could like
I mean, we
you
could.
could go up to a tree and then look at like see where you are and measure like the distance.
Well, actually, yes.
No, you're describing using math. Do you do that to prove the math, or do you use that to measure the distance? So yeah, if I had a theory that matter was made of atoms, I would fire it at something and I'd see if I could get it to break apart because it did. But what would an experiment with numbers look like?
It's like an experiment would be like how far away from my house is tree by your angle.
What would you do? I think you should talk about what results would you get that would prove it one way or the other.
Well, what is it?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, you should answer that at the same time.
Also, stuff like a flat earth is that considered math?
Is what?
Oh, it's because I thought it said this is a certain number of zeros. Yeah, does that count as math? It's like a number.
Does merely counting something? What do you mean is counting?
Wait, I'm sorry. I'm really gonna get like that
What
insight.
could
Oh, yeah.
considered math?
Is it? You're talking to the wrong people. That's your group. Ask them.
Hey, guys.
Yeah.
Why do you think math was invented? Really?
Yep.
Smaller.
Nope.
Oh, okay, so we just put that there and then we're
Yep.
reading through some
Yep.
more.
Excellent. You're almost there. Another textbook has arrived. Okay.
Maybe we don't do experiments, we use math.
Well, that's the language. The language.
Are there any groups in which there are 2 people for and 2 people against? Only your group? Half?
Real shocks.
Okay, let's do this slightly differently.
Yeah.
How many people right now just sort of have the sense that math was discovered in the same way you discovered the laws of physics? Okay. How many people think that it was invented, like humans invented it, like we invented the steam few people. Okay, the people who think it's invented, since there's much fewer of those, form your own group so that you can come up with the ideas that go together. Hands up if you think it's invented.
Einstein say so.
People are kind of changing their mind. Okay, go back to what you're doing.
Einstein said so.
Add this question. I would like you to answer, do we do experiments? But also, if there were no humans around, would math still exist?
No. It would exist.
Or, if all humans cease to exist, would math continue existing?
Well, is math like apply your knowledge to something, or can it just exist on its
Yeah,
own?
humans.
Yeah, that's a good question. That's literally, that's the question.
What makes something math
Yes.
versus human
Who wants to
thought?
write this one?
Yes. Answer that question.
But that's not relevant to the question.
Whether or not those two principles, I think that's relevant. Yeah.
Oh, shoot.
The way that people apply math would not existing. But math itself.
We do experiments.
Like everything is numbers. Like you know,
I mean, math exists everywhere because like math does numbers. The equations tend to be wrong. And chemistry is literally just math. Equations are. So what do we do? Case one, we solve the issue.
Solve the issue.
Chemistry exists, so math exists.
What is that official
It represents my 200 years.
what's it gonna do? The way that humans apply math is not like.
Okay, you just have another minute, and then I'm going to ask you.
You're right.
Math would still exist in humans.
That is a false sense.
Like nothing actually exists in numbers. You just get something that's three leaves or three stems, so it means it's math, but when you count it, you apply your knowledge.
Do I write
Not
that
in
question?
its, not how it is. Like we.
No, but I also numbers in regression, like see like the different systems.
Yeah, 0 divided by 0 is
It's
0.
why system when you look at yours doesn't
Math is like we call it math.
8:37. Okay.
measurement stuff.
Nice.
Stop for a second.
Is it math just human thought?
Em?
It is.
I'm going to go around, and so we can go around quickly, I'm going to ask each group to give their best point. We'll spend just 10 seconds. The person who wrote cannot be the person who speaks, so appoint a speaker for each group.
He's writing it up for the
And is today right or left? Right or left? Left. Excellent.
It's really close.
You're going to be going up
Give
first?
nothing in it.
Left hand.
It's identifying something as nothing.
That's
Okay,
what
are we good?
That's 0x. You cross the x.
Okay, one second. Don't wave. Don't wave out the door. Close the door. Close the door. They're probably doing it loud. Okay, you're up first. Who's the speaker? Who's in this group? Is this which way does the four go?
Five. I wasn't even here.
Okay, go, Karen. Stand. Project.
Rediscovered math? No. Like, sorry, I'm changing to.
No,
Okay, never mind. We invented math, like, we invented the numbers and stuff. Like, they could be called something else instead of a word, kind of.
So we invented the language, sure. Does the underlying math though change?
Yeah.
Go.
Like
Yeah.
for me, it's like when people are like the human rights wouldn't exist, there would be not like the need for math, and also like nobody would like the nature is random, kind of like most parts of nature, and not like in numbers, and so I feel like without the human race, math would not exist.
Math doesn't exist.
Or like the math we have now would not exist, because what would be math without numbers? Like when you can't tell how long
I like the statement you said, like human rights. If humans didn't exist, human rights wouldn't exist. And neither would that. Isn't that what you said before?
Yeah.
Are you questioning that statement now?
No, like I feel like animal don't need math, so like I don't know. Also, you can see like in the word there are like different types. For example, like feet and inches, and like meters and centimeters. So it's like just like the language and
Right.
like the humans define what.
So
math
feet,
is.
inches, centimeters, clearly invented. Okay, which group? Because there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people here. So you must belong over there. Go.
I wrote it. Okay. So we think that math was discovered because, like, well, the language was invented.
The language part was invented.
The underlying math was discovered because, like, if you think back, like, before it was like, say, discovered.
Yeah.
If you had two cavemen, like, one had a rock, and the other gave the other a rock. Have two rocks. It just, and then they invented the language to explain it.
Right. So you almost described doing an experiment there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we think we do this.
Right.
We do it.
If a caveman had one rock and he added another rock, and for some weird reason he got 5 rocks, would that prove math wrong?
Yes.
No, because then that would prove the language how math works.
'Cause-
1 + 1 = 5.
Oh wait. Yeah.
Well, you'll find
We
in
are
chemistry
wrong.
11
Math
that
is
2
not
+ 2 = 5 for very large values of 2. Okay, so we have maybe an experiment there. Left would be going around to the back, which is the 4. Are you the speaker? Excellent. Oh, you've got a whole flow chart. Okay, go.
Math is a language and a concept. And if it was a language, then it would be invented. But if it was a concept, it would be discovered. We discovered the concept of math, but we invented the language to understand.
Okay, so similar to here where we have 2 parts of it, the language was definitely invented. Yep. What's going on underneath that?
I don't know.
You've got to talk to your group during these because you never know when they're going to vote your speaker.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, no. You've given us a couple of points. Is there any main ones we're missing from that? Or did that cover it for your group? That's pretty much it. Okay. Go.
Alright, so we decided that it was discovered.
Yeah.
No, they said that, but I feel like, so if a caveman gave another caveman a rock.
Yeah.
No,
That's
not,
a good point.
what?
Well, I don't know if it's a good point.
Like,
We'll see.
you don't know what he's thinking, oh, I took around both rocks, and
Yeah.
I took 2 rocks. You don't know that he was thinking that maybe he's just like, I have a rock in each hand. It doesn't mean he was doing any math.
Yeah. Yeah.
Doesn't mean math doesn't
That's
exist.
the truth of language.
No, but humans are the people that like said that that's math. Like,
Right.
what makes that math?
Right.
It's only math once humans apply like their understanding of what that is. Like, math is just a way for humans to cope with questions and come up with answers so they don't go crazy.
So math is like
It's just a way
a
to
form of like intellectual therapy. We can cope with the questions now and do stuff with it.
Yeah, it's a way for humans to like visualize and like
So,
understand.
does the rest of your group agree with me? Because you started off saying, well, you think it's discovered,
They
but okay, so
You agree with me, right?
That's discovered?
No, that's amended. Yeah.
yeah, okay. Does everybody think it's invented?
I think it's
Oh, okay. Okay. And purely
Oh,
invented.
I think it's discovered.
Why do you think it's discovered?
No, I just think it's discovered because math, like, if you say, because we say 1 = 1, but see, imagine an alien said that this equals our 1. The language changed, but math is still math.
Math, the language has changed. Math is, I like the little point there. Math is still math. Math is math.
Yeah, but we need that without humans' approval, that would
No, okay. I understand. Yes.
There's no other language.
But your point is that the math, underlying math, doesn't change, so you think it's
Math is another thing, it's subjective. We cannot, like,
yeah.
I mean,
if humanity, for example, to put the math is point, if humanity all died out, and then a race of turtles who were exposed to radiation from a nuclear power plant evolved into intelligent ninja fighters and took over the planet, would they use math?
Oh yeah, but not in our language.
No, it might be called something else, but would we recognize it?
At what point does it become math? Like what is math?
I might call it like.
No, you can't ask me questions. I'm asking you for answers.
I don't know, I'm putting my bus markers. So it's like, what is math? How do we know
Yeah.
what is it?
Probably our system would disappear, but they probably figure out another way to prove exactly what we have.
Yeah. So they would have like 1 + 1 = 2.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
It goes back to the earlier question: if we had to reinvent everything, you're starting out from babies in some post-apocalyptic universe in which people are relearning everything, would they reinvent Shakespeare? No. Would they reinvent math?
Yeah.
Probably.
But not in the same way.
But I don't know if that is the same thing. Last group?
We have wildly different opinions.
Oh, okay. Well, pick one for each side then.
Okay. So, we decided that math was discovered because, like the other group said, even though the language might change and
One second,
symbols are used, math itself, it makes up the universe, so it can't be just invented by us. But guys,
But yeah, math is just the way that we understand that concept. Like we call it math, but like other races or other like beings, if they're out there, they could call it something else.
Like alien races or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but it's still math.
Yeah, the concept is math.
Yeah, no,
The concept is math, but we call it math.
I don't understand yet how you're different from what they said. Why do you say it's invented?
Well, math is like, math has always been there. We definitely discovered it. Like,
I like the we've had a road to Damascus conversion.
I'm arguing against you, so wait, what are you arguing?
He just wants to argue against us.
No. I like it when a whole group comes together. Well
I'm
done.
really tired.
Have a seat back down. I've got just a review video. I don't want to leave you with, I gave you this question, and then some people keep asking me questions, like I should know this. copyright strike. I'm going to take this away because I need something to write. But I want you to tell me what kind of math I'm doing, because the reason you think that, let's do this. Nope, I didn't actually want to do that. That was the wrong button. Come on. Because you're doing the math that is obvious, but the math, some of the math that they were describing, doesn't fit sort of what you obviously see, and actually contradicts some of the obviousness in the universe. Let me freeze this for a second, because I find this kind of math a little difficult. And you can tell me what it is I am doing.
How did they come up with pi?
Oh, there's a process by which you can calculate.
The geometry is 1, but in the line is 3, 4, 4. It's like, you know, wow.
Ah.
No, pi. I did math.
Okay, here's a math task for you. And unfreeze. Okay, calling back. This is a form of math. If you ask Ms. Walensky, I believe a friend of hers is writing a number of papers on it. She's the world's foremost expert in this type of math. It is used in multiple systems now and is turning out to have a lot of applications in terms of looking at string theory and the origins of the universe. And this type of math would say that, say, 12 minus 7 is equal to 2. And if I had 10 plus 4, that would also equal to 2. But 10, let's not do 10 because that would repeat. Well, actually, give me a number.
18.
It can, now, so first of all, clever, because you picked something way out. I cannot give you 18. You may only pick from 1 through 12.
11.
Okay, 11. Add or subtract.
Add.
And another number.
11.
11 plus 11. Now, I obviously had to work that out because I don't do this well in my head. You can probably see my screen, yeah, so don't let it away. Now, in this math, 1 plus 2 is still equal to 3. For someone who can't see my screen, give me some numbers to test this.
7.
7 plus or minus?
Minus.
Minus? 7. Oh, perfect. I should have known that. I don't even know why I had to count that. What kind of math am I doing?
Magic.
No, you know, because you can see. I need to like fake that over. Yeah.
It's fake math.
It's not fake math. There's a math prize that's maybe won due to this math. I think Miss Walensky's friend is up for it. Yep. No, this is a very practical form of math. In fact, some people use this every day.
Is it like arithmetic something? Like arithmetic?
It is arithmetic. I mean, I'm adding. Would you like a hint?
Yes.
A hint is the number line. What kind of number line am I using? A reverse number line? There's no negative numbers. Any other numbers that you can think of that would test? Does anybody have a theory about what I'm doing? No, yeah, you know. Yes?
2 squared or something?
Pardon?
2 squared?
2 squared? Am I 11 squared plus 11? I don't know.
It's 131.
Yeah, but I gave 10.
Is it that you like always start at a certain number on the number line or something?
I think that might be close. What do you mean?
Like to do your calculations, like instead of starting off with nothing, you start off with the number already there.
So, good, yes. So there is no 0 on my number line.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So 0 doesn't exist on this.
Aha, see? Said it.
On this particular type of math, yeah, 0 doesn't. However, it could exist. The particular aspect I'm doing is the most familiar to you. Yeah. Pardon? What? Oh no, this is just to represent. I could represent 10 as alpha and 11 as beta and 12 as gamma or something, and it would make no difference. I could just use those. So those are just because we use base 10. I'm using a base 12. I'm using base 10 in a base 12 system. Yep.
Is it possible that math could be discovered and invented? Because like on paper, if whoever discovered math said like wrote out 1 plus 1 equals 3,
Yeah.
and then everyone on the planet agreed that's just how it is.
But
Then
but
if it was just like just math on paper, it's like spoken math.
but if we were building bridges with 1 plus 1 equals 3, would the bridges stay up or fall down?
Well, if 3 equaled like 2 chunks of something, like if that was known as 3,
Oh yeah, you just change the label then. Yeah.
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 So
But we have lots of languages. Yeah. I think, yeah. Growing up, I knew someone, I felt very sorry for them. Their mom was a bit of an odd duck. She deliberately taught her child the wrong names for colors. So like they thought green was named orange, orange was named yellow, like that sort of thing. And it totally messed them up when they went to school, and it continued to mess them up for a long time because their instinct was always wrong. But it was just like knowing another language and growing up with another language. It's just different labels. They can still describe the color. Here's one. I mean, you do this math every day. Like I have seen people say, it's 10 now. In 3, it will be 1. You have done this math. Where have you done this math? Yes? The clock. Yeah. If you are here and you have 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, then if you give me 10, 1, 2, 3, then I have 1. And if I minus and plus, take 7 minus 7, I get 12. All the math is described in this. And that may be like, oh, that's just what we do with clocks. It turns out this type of math is really useful in a lot of different areas. It's a real type of math-ish that seems to describe parts of the universe that we use it. Pardon?
What about for the rest of the numbers?
What other numbers? There are no. In this math, you can make a clock. Could you make a clock that just goes up to like 5 and you would just have 1, 2, 3, 4? Yeah.
But there's an infinite amount of numbers, so it's like you wouldn't be able to have a round clock because it just keeps going.
Are there an infinite amount of numbers?
Yes,
How do you know that?
because they just keep going.
Do they?
I can't eventually stop adding M&Ms to a jar. I just keep adding them.
You could add M&Ms to a jar forever?
Yeah.
I don't think that amount of M&Ms exist.
Well, not yet, but it hasn't been created, but it exists.
But
That's like saying that all the theoretical science and theories people have about space aren't real just because they haven't been tested.
math can't be tested. What I'm saying is that you're using a type of math that has that many numbers. It's a bit of a theoretical concept. In this type of math, you say that you just work as if those numbers don't exist. And it turns out that's a very useful form of math. In fact, this is one of the forms of math that is actively being studied today because we use it in electronics and communication, all sorts of things. It describes parts of electricity and electromagnetism. We can get rid of all those numbers and use this math and use it to describe other areas of the universe. But it fundamentally breaks our current, like the caveman math. Poor cavemen. We're like doing them a big disservice. I don't think I could invent fire. Now, the reason why you may be complaining in your head and going, I didn't sign up for a math class, I signed up for science and ethics, is because now we've done all the different parts of what ethics isn't. We're going to start doing eventually what ethics is. But there's a couple points of agreement. I use math as an analogy because I think we could agree that this is something that's objective. If we met another species that visit us here on the planet, aliens came, started stealing our cattle or something, whatever it is they say they do in the movies, and they flew their spaceships, it would probably be described by forms of math. When we describe other cultures on our planet, they also have different forms of math, but we can recognize it even if we don't recognize the language. There seems to be something in there that's true, but it doesn't need experiments. It's not empirical. So something that's objective and not empirical might be something like ethics. If we are to say that ethics is objective, then we're going to be talking about something that perhaps we can discover, but we're not going to get together. It's like, we think this is really unethical. Let's try it and find out if it is. As my philosophy professor used to say, you don't have to run over puppies with a lawnmower to know that it's wrong. You can just think about it. So that's the first one. If you talk, and these are just points from ethical philosophy, why philosophers do it. They talk a lot about intuition. If you talk to a scientist, scientists get kind of irritated at this because a scientist will say, well, all of our stuff is proven or supported. And it's not. At the end of the day, as even you have questioned, there's nothing in science that we can say is 100% true, and it all might be wrong. It just works as a really useful model. The fact that it works as a useful model and we assume that that's true is a fundamental assumption of science that science can never escape from. It's just an assumption. There's no way of ever even supporting that. We don't know, and we can never know. So it's part of the universe. But if we have time before the break, I would like to leave it there because I want to finish off our podcast of what is good.